Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy back with another video. You know I love me some creepy stuff, and what's creepier than real-life inspiring horror movies? Seriously, it's one thing to watch a scary movie, but it's a whole other level of messed up when you realize it's based on something that actually happened. We're talking about those horror movies that aren't just trying to make you jump. They're based on true stories, real events that will leave you sleeping with the lights on. So get ready to dive into the dark side of cinema. Buckle up, subscribe if you're new, and let's get right into it. First up, we've got The Conjuring. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the paranormal investigators. They're like the OG ghost hunters. This movie dives into one of their most famous cases, the Perron family haunting. Imagine moving into a new house, all excited for a fresh start, and then, BAM! You're basically living in a horror movie. That's what happened to the Perrons back in the 70s. Doors slamming shut, objects moving on their own, disembodied voices, you name it, this house had it. The Warrens come in to investigate, and let me tell you, things get intense. We're talking demonic forces, possessions, the whole nine yards. The scariest part is knowing that this family actually went through this. Like, imagine the terror of being trapped in a house with something evil. Hey everyone, quick break from our usual content to bring you something special. If you're like me and need that extra boost to get through your day, I've got just the thing for you. Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby is a game changer when it comes to energy drinks. It's packed with all the good stuff to keep you energized and focused without the jitters or crash. For all you gamers and athletes out there, Dubby is the ultimate drink to keep you sharp, focused, and ready to tackle anything that comes your way. And the best part, you can get 10% off your order by using my special code, Daily Dose Off Acts. Just head over to Dubby's website or use the link in the description below. So, what are you waiting for? Boost your energy and stay sharp with Dubby. You can't talk about horror movies based on true stories without mentioning the Amityville Horror. This one's a classic, and for good reason. It's based on the Lutz family, who moved into a house where just a year earlier, a man had murdered his entire family. Talk about bad vibes. The Lutz family only lasted 28 days in that house, and in those 28 days they experienced some seriously messed up stuff. We're talking swarms of flies, walls oozing slime, demonic voices, and even a creepy pig-like creature that would watch the family from the shadows. I mean, can you imagine? You move into a new house hoping for a fresh start, and you get terrorized by demonic forces. No thanks. Okay guys, let's talk about The Haunting in Connecticut. This one hits close to home, literally, because it involves a family moving into a former funeral home. I mean, who thinks that's a good idea? Anyway, the Snedeker family moves in, and they don't realize they're basically moving into a portal to hell. Soon, they're experiencing all sorts of paranormal activity. Their son starts seeing creepy, ghostly figures, objects move on their own, and they even find embalming tools hidden in the basement, like who's burying who in this house. The Warrens, Ed and Lorraine, even investigated this case, which just adds to the creep factor. It's like, if the Warrens are involved, you know it's legit haunted. Alright, we're hitting you with a classic now, The Exorcist. This movie is iconic, and it's based on the real-life exorcism of a young boy known as Roland Doe. Imagine being a 13-year-old kid and suddenly you're possessed by a demon. Not exactly your typical teenage angst. The movie doesn't hold back on the disturbing imagery. You've got levitation, projectile vomiting, head spinning, and that creepy, raspy voice that still gives me nightmares. What makes this story even more terrifying is that it was witnessed by multiple people, including priests and doctors. They all claim that the boy was truly possessed, and the events that unfolded during the exorcism were just as terrifying in real life as they are in the movie. Let's be real, dolls are creepy, especially when they're possessed. Annabelle takes that fear to a whole new level. This movie is a spin-off of The Conjuring and tells the origin story of that creepy Annabelle doll. You know, the one with the rosy cheeks and the soul-piercing stare? Yeah, that one. The real Annabelle doll is said to be possessed by the spirit of a young girl who died tragically. She's known to move on her own, leave messages, and even attack people. The movie takes some creative liberties, but the core story is still rooted in the real-life Annabelle doll, which is currently locked away in the Warrens Occult Museum. Yeah, you heard that right, they have a whole museum dedicated to haunted objects. Get ready for this one, guys, because the entity is based on the terrifying true story of Doris Bither, a woman who claimed to have been repeatedly assaulted by an unseen force. Imagine being home alone and suddenly you're being held down, touched, and attacked by something you can't even see. That's what Doris went through, and it's enough to make your skin crawl. Paranormal investigators were called in and they witnessed some of the attacks firsthand. They even captured strange lights and anomalies on their equipment. The movie captures the raw terror of being completely at the mercy of something evil and unseen. It's a reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we can't see. We all know Ouija boards are bad news, right? Well, Veronica takes that to a whole other level. This Spanish horror film is loosely based on the true story of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro, a teenage girl who died mysteriously after using a Ouija board. The movie follows Veronica, who, along with her friends, decides to contact the spirit world using a Ouija board. Big mistake. Things take a dark turn, and Veronica becomes the target of a malevolent entity. What makes this story even creepier is that the police who investigated Estefania's case reported experiencing unexplained phenomena in her apartment. They even filed an official report detailing the paranormal activity, which is pretty unheard of. Guys, this next one is tough to talk about. The Girl Next Door is based on the horrific true story of Sylvia Likens, a young girl who was tortured and murdered by her caretaker. This isn't your typical horror movie with ghosts and demons, it's about the darkness that can reside within humanity. The movie is incredibly disturbing and difficult to watch, but it shines a light on the very real issue of child abuse. Sylvia's story is a reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are human. Her suffering was unimaginable, and the fact that it was inflicted by someone who was supposed to care for her makes it even more horrifying. Last but not least, we're heading to the Australian outback with Wolf Creek. This movie is inspired by the real-life backpacker murders that terrorized Australia, and let me tell you, it's the stuff of nightmares. Imagine being stranded in the middle of nowhere only to encounter a seemingly friendly local who turns out to be a sadistic killer. That's the premise of Wolf Creek, and it's as terrifying as it sounds. The movie's realism is what makes it so effective. The vast, isolated landscape of the Australian outback becomes a character itself, adding to the feeling of hopelessness and dread. The killer, Mick Taylor, is loosely based on real-life Australian serial killer Ivan Milat, who preyed on backpackers in the 1990s. And there you have it, guys. 10 horror movies that will make you sleep with the lights on. It's one thing to watch a scary movie, but it's a whole other level of messed up when you realize it's based on something that actually happened. These movies are a chilling reminder that sometimes truth is stranger and scarier than fiction. If you're brave enough, let me know in the comments which one of these movies freaked you out the most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more creepy content. Until next time, stay spooky.